it's Ash and welcome back to my channel. Today is a little bit of a different video. I have a candle here to help relax. This is a little bit of a hard one. It's my story. I don't even know where to start. I wrote some notes to help keep everything going, flowing. Well, let's get into it. So I was a sophomore. I had just gotten back from a trip to Costa Rica where it was so much fun. I had the time of my life, and I got back to school and I had drama class, and there was this new kid there in drama class. I don't want to say his name or anything, but I mean, he was super cute. You know, he was the new hot guy and everyone wanted him, but I didn't talk to him much. He didn't really talk to me, so I didn't think anything of it. You know, he's just a new kid, and he had been there for 2 weeks by then, because since I was gone in Costa Rica, like everyone else kind of like had their phases with him or whatever, and got over it. And then, so I was like new to that. So we started flirting eventually, and you know, it led up to things, and we started dating. So right before we started dating, some girls that I guess, I don't know if they like dated or were talking or whatnot, but they like warned me that he's really controlling and that I shouldn't date him. And of course, I didn't listen. You know, who does? Sorry. I have my water here. Okay. We ended up dating, and it lasted a total of 3 months this time, during sophomore year. During that period, you know, he was good, it was fun, and then he just slowly started getting more and more obsessive, I want to say, and controlling. He would control what I would wear. I couldn't show any midriff at all. My jeans couldn't be too tight, you know, my shirts couldn't be too tight. I couldn't wear makeup because he thought I was getting ready for other people to see me. And I mean, not that I wear much makeup anyways, but when you know, you like to sometimes, right? And when I do, which, you know, it's nice to get ready once in a while. So I wasn't even allowed to do that. It would cause fights. He would like break up with me. Like, he would say he was breaking up with me to punish me, to teach me a lesson, to not do whatever I was doing. So it could be I was texting, I didn't put enough emojis, or I didn't kiss him enough in a day, or, you know, any little, you know, dumb, stupid thing. I couldn't even talk to any guy, like, in class with, you know, like, I couldn't talk to anyone. And then if he found out, he would get mad, do this breakup thing, and, you know, it would kill me, because you're a sophomore, you don't really know what love is, and you think that's how it's supposed to be, because that's how social media perceives it, as like, it's just a bad situation. So this one day, I can't remember why. It was over something stupid that he told me that I couldn't do. And, you know, I did it back to him. I was like, you know what? Like, I broke up with him as like what he did to me. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't actually want to break up with him, but I was just trying to show him that I don't like to be treated the way he was treating me. So I was trying to show him how it feels. And instead of him apologizing, stopping what he was doing, he went and he cheated on me. And I mean, I counted it as cheating. It could not have been cheating because I had said we were broken up, but I didn't mean it. So to me, it felt like it was cheating. And then, you know, it was like the same day as I said this. So no matter what, it's really messed up anyways, to just go and, you know, like actually, okay, this is an adult video, so I'm gonna have to say some words. So go out and, have sex with some other girl the same day that we broke up. So I mean, that was a total of 3 months. It's not a long time, but when you're in high school, it's kind of a long time. But after that, I was hurt for a while. I went through depression for a couple weeks, and it's really bad. I finally, got over it over the summer, and went back to school, went back junior year, and it was like an on and off thing. I would see him in class or in the hallways or whatever, and I would fall for him again because I had that connection that was there, and so it was like an on and off talking thing. My parents knew everything that happened before, and they didn't like him one bit already. So come around to senior year, we started dating again. My parents didn't know. I would lie to them and tell them I was going to hang out with friends when I would really just be going to hang out with him. And that made me lose the trust between my parents. And that was the biggest downfall that I could have done, But I was a stupid teenager and I did it. And now it's just time to fix it. Well, I mean, I fixed it already. But I was just a dumb teenager, and you make mistakes. You make major mistakes, and that was one of them. And finally, eventually, I told my parents that we were seeing each other again, and they didn't like it, but they let it happen because it's what I really wanted. And I was fighting with them about it, and it was, they didn't, even though he was bad, they didn't see anything too wrong with it. They were suspicious of him, that he was going to be abusive, and I didn't see it. They told me that every day, and I didn't listen to them. And so they let us date, and we went on dates once in a while, and this one night, it was like right before senior year actually started. And I don't know if it was the same day or if it was like the day before. But sorry if you hear my voice a little raspy. I'm a little sick, so you know how it goes. So on this date that we went to, we were going to the movies, and then we went out to Wendy's. I don't know, I remember this so specifically after. And of course I had to check in with my parents everywhere we went, where we were, what was going on. And I had told them that we were going to go to the movie and go out and eat. And when we picked up Wendy's, we took it home to where he was staying. And where he was staying was his friend's mom's house. His friends weren't even there. She kind of worked a lot. I don't know where she was 90% of the time, but he was alone in that house most of the time, and he was just staying there. So we took the food there and hung out. And I told my parents, and then when I got home, and they got pissed because I didn't tell them that we were at his house instead of the restaurant. And it caused a major, major, major fight. And okay. So my parents are very, very conservative. I was never allowed to stay, at a boyfriend's house, let alone any guy's house. And so I drove off after this fight, and I went to his house, and I actually had to drive with my lights off because my dad was following me. Oh man, I'm gonna start crying already. And okay. My dad was following me, and I had to lose him by turning off my lights, and I ended up going to his house and staying the night. and they were pissed off at me for this. And they basically kicked me out of the house. Slash, it was my fault, because I shouldn't have done all this stuff. But it was just the anger was built up between us, and I don't think they thought I would have actually done it. But young love, thinking I was in love in the best place ever, I did. So they had my stuff in trash bags out in the front of the house, and they said, we'll give you your stuff if you hand over the house key. And so we went and we did that, and so I had to move in with him into this house where it was his friend's mom's house. And I didn't even know her. I didn't know these friends. And so the deal was that if we stay there, we had to clean the house and keep everything up, and no parties, none of that stuff. Just clean the house is basically our rent. We didn't have to pay rent. But I was a senior, so I was going to school. I was working, and I was cleaning the house. He's a guy. Guys don't have to clean the house, is what he would say. So I had to do it all. And he didn't go to school. He didn't work. He didn't do anything. So I paid for everything. And he would just, I don't know what he would do, jack off half the time. I don't know. He could have been cheating on me then too, and I would never know. We lived a block away from the girl that he cheated on me with in the first place, so that should have been a telltale sign. But I don't know if it happened again, and I guess I'll never know. But in the end, it doesn't really matter because it wasn't really true. But so we would fight a lot, and everything, all the controlling that I thought he would stop all started again, but instantly, not slowly over the time. It was just instant controlling, and the fights, they just got worse and worse. And especially since we were in a house alone, he could yell as loud as he want and say whatever fucked up shit he wanted. And he said some really, really messed up stuff. And sometimes people don't count emotional abuse as being as intense as physical. Yes, he was both, and I'll get into that later. But emotional is just as bad, and it probably hurts more because it scars, your mental state and how you are now. So, anyways, moving on. So the first time he started to get physical, I was trying to leave for work, and I can't remember why we were fighting, what was going on, but I was just trying to get out of the door, to go downstairs, to go to the car, to, get to work on time. I was about late, and that's all I was caring about. I was like, I'm going to be late to work, just let me go. And he wasn't letting me through the door, and he ended up grabbing my arms like this, and pushing me down onto the bed, and holding me down, and screaming in my face. Just screaming in my face, and I was just wanting to get to work. And eventually he stopped, and I was just crying. And I went to work, and then at work I was crying. And someone that's really important to me, who I worked with, was like, what's wrong? And I told him, and he kind of gave me, hope inside my head that there is some good in the world, that not everything's like this. So that was always in the back of my mind, that there is people that are there to care for you, and this guy doesn't care for you. And I didn't listen to my instincts in the first place. You always have your first instincts, and then you just lose it after a while. And you just think that, this is love, this is how it's supposed to be. And you just don't think of what other people say, even though it makes the most sense. You see it on TV all the time, and you think you know. But just when you're in that place, you don't know, or I don't know what it is, but it's hard. It's hard to go back and think about all the times people have told me don't do that. He's bad. He's abusive. Why are you doing this? Why are you still there? And I just didn't listen, or I didn't care because I was in love, you know? And so we had like a couple fights there, and then this other major one, it was one of the ones that mainly got us kicked out of the house because I think I would talk to her. I called her Miss G, and I would go and talk to her and tell her everything that would happen, and she was always on my side. She's always like, if you need anything, let me know. And after this one fight, I was just crying, and like during it, and then he got mad that I was crying and I wouldn't shut up, and he smashed my face into the floor, and my nose just started bleeding, and I was terrified at this point, and I ran into the bathroom, and I went to go slam the door shut, you know, and lock it because I was scared because he just slammed my face into the floor, and he put his hand like in the door thing, and like, you know, when I closed the door it hit his hands, and then, you know, like it busted his knuckles, and he just like started crying. He's like, you hurt me, and it's like, he just smashed my face on the floor, and I was scared. I didn't mean to do that, and you know, he just made everything come back to, it was my fault in the end. No matter what he did, what I did, what I didn't do, it was always my fault, and whatever I did was always way worse. When, you know, that was an accident, if anything, you know, self-defense, because I was scared. And so while he was crying, while all this was happening, my nose was still bleeding. It was running into my face, into my mouth, and he was like, go clean your ugly face, there's blood everywhere. And he just didn't apologize, didn't care, that he literally smashed my face in the floor. And so I went and I told Miss G whenever she came back what happened, and we had got kicked out of the house now. So now we had to move in with his drunk, abusive parents in this nasty mobile home that they didn't clean it. There was nasty dirt, food all over the floor. There was rats everywhere. There was mold, and it was just a nasty place to live. And let alone being around worse people as it is, where they didn't care what happened because they were doing it too. And so through all this, I was still going to school. I was in student council. You know, I was keeping up my straight A's. Everything seemed fine at school. I don't know how people didn't see the bruises, didn't see the busted lips, didn't see, you know, whatever. And then coming back to nowadays, talking with some of my friends at the time, they said that I made up some excuses for things, like I would have a black eye and I would make up an excuse, and you know, they were the ones that knew, but they didn't really do anything. They just told me, you gotta get out. And, you know, I didn't listen, but I don't remember half of this stuff that they tell me that I did. And that is the scariest part of all of this, is that I don't remember most of what happened. And, anyways, so if you need help, if you're in this situation, or you see someone in this situation, you know, talk to someone, because it is important, because their mind state isn't in the right place to understand what's going on, and I can't explain why that is. It just is. And you gotta listen to your initial instincts and know what's going on. Know that it's not love if he's hurting you, if he's making you feel bad for stuff that you shouldn't even feel bad for. And just know it's not love. One of the saddest things that my parents told me whenever I got back and moved in with them after everything was that they thought I was going to end up dead. That they thought they would find me in a ditch somewhere dead. And I never thought it was that bad. And it just, That makes me so sad to think that my parents thought that. So right now, I don't think they knew what was going on because I hid it from Mom and I hardly went to their house and stuff. But that was after everything. After everything, they said that. But so in this house with his parents, his dad claimed he was a schizophrenic. I don't know if this is true or if he was just a creep, but he would say some really gross things to me, and I would like shower and have the door closed. It couldn't lock because it was like an old door or something and broken. And he would just open the door and come in and scream something at me, and like it just felt very like invasive. I don't know. He felt very invasive, and at least once a month the cops were called to that house every time because of his parents fighting or because of them starting drama with the landlord or whatever. So the cops were there all the time, and so they got to know my face, and it wasn't me doing anything. They just saw me around that house, and they knew my face. And so the fighting continued. He would punch me, he would slap me. In the car, we would be driving down the road. Literally, I would be driving, and he would smash my head into the window or pull my hair and scream in my ear. I would pull over because he's doing all this stuff to me, and I don't want to get in a wreck. And he would pull the keys out and threaten to throw them out into the middle of nowhere if I didn't listen to him or whatever he would say. One time, he got a piece of pizza and like rubbed it in my face and then stole $20 from me, when I already paid for everything already. And it was a lot. And I bought him things. I bought him motorcycles. I bought him, his drugs that he wanted, and I just didn't care. And that's the part that gets me the worst, is like hating on yourself from all this. That how did I not care enough about myself to see what was going on and see that that's not real love, I mean, so easy to know that someone that hurts you does not love you. And this is one of the hardest things for me to say because embarrassing, I guess, and I didn't know if I wanted to say this or not, but he would basically rape me. And like, I know because we were in a relationship it was just mutual consent, but it wasn't, because I wasn't allowed to say no, and it would just cause a fight and it would end up happening anyways. But it just got to a point where it would hurt me, and I would just cry during it, and he wouldn't care. He just, keep going, keep doing it, and I wasn't allowed to stop. I wasn't allowed to say no, and that, like, even hurts me to this day. Like the thought of that hurts me to this day, and he really could have messed me up. I could have got pregnant from him and been stuck in a different situation because he didn't stop, you know what I mean? And I wasn't on anything. He didn't wear anything. And, things could have been a lot worse than they were. And I know what he did was bad. But I just try to see the hope in things of, at least it wasn't this. It could have been this. But, I just got to deal with it. Everything I do, you just got to deal with it and grow from it. But that was one of the worst things that he did, because that's just like your personal it's a personal thing, and he just made it not. He just made it forceful, and it made it, bad for me. And to be in the point of tears is not good. I don't know how you could be wanting someone that is crying like that, like bawling because it's hurting me, and just not caring. But during all this, I felt very alone. I couldn't talk to anyone. I felt like a piece of trash on the ground because of how he was treating me, how his parents didn't care how his dad was treating me. And I don't know how I stayed up in school. And I'm so thankful for that I was able to. That, I don't know I don't know how I did it, but I did. And I was acting happy there, and no one suspected anything. And I don't know if that's like I'm a good actor, or if they just didn't care, or I know I hit a lot. I know I wore a lot of long sleeves when I had bruises from him grabbing my wrists, or just not talking on days where I had a busted lip, or whatever. I hit a lot, and that's bad on my part. But I don't know. It's just, you have to just realize that it's not real love. It's not. And I know I'm just repeating that, but it's true. And it's the hardest thing to learn when you're in that situation, because they make you feel so good. Like, I don't even know how. Thinking back, I remember more bad stuff than good memories. I don't remember much good stuff that he even said to me, besides I love you. And anyone can say that, because it's just, they can just say it, but you have to know when they mean it, But during all of this, once I got really tired of what was going on, I was starting to listen to people. And that guy that I talked about a little bit back at work that had checked on me when I was crying, he was always in the back of my head, of like, that there is good in the world, that, I really want someone to care for me like he does. Even though he just checked up on me, like a good friend, I wanted someone to care for me like that, when that's a normal, common, courtesy for a person to do. And it's sad to see that so little that I wanted is, nothing. But that's all that I wanted, was to just be cared about. But anyways, I got into my head that this isn't good. I was starting to feel these emotions. And the day that really made it known was this huge fight. And most of the other fights, they were in the house or in private, or, in the cars. It's kind of public, but it's not really public because it's private. But this time it was in public. We were riding dirt bikes, and we had to go to the gas station to fill them up before. And, yes, I like to ride dirt bikes and stuff, but, I'm not a professional, so I wasn't going super fast. And he got mad at me for going too slow on a dirt bike, Like, people can go their own speed, or go as fast as they want, go as slow as they want. It's what's comfortable for you. But anyways, I was going too slow, so he got mad at me, and he pushed my bike down, and it broke this engine bolt out of it. It's like a long bolt that fell out, so the dirt bike wouldn't even work. So I started pushing it back to the house, and I was just walking away, and he was yelling things at me. He was driving back and forth, just yelling at me. I was just trying my best to ignore him. And then he started throwing like rocks and stuff at me to get my attention. And I just got fed up with it. You can only take so much of ignoring someone that's throwing rocks at you. So I turned around to go yell something at him. And, he was within arm's distance, and he just pushed me down to the ground. And I was like, I don't know, that's a weird face, but I was just like, and then I got up, and I was about to leave again, and then he got pissed that I was about to leave. And he was in martial arts, so, you know, he knows how to hurt people. And he kicked me 3 times, full man strength, whatever. Kicked me three times in like the gut, in the crotch area, the gut, and then my chest. And I like fell back onto the ground. You know, I lost my breath a little bit, and I was just crying and crying. This was out in the middle of the street, in front of people's houses. You know, like anyone could have just walked out the door. Anyone could have seen all this. And he's just doing it. He's just kicking me in the middle of the street in front of anyone to see, and he didn't give a care in the world. And I think that's what hurt me the most, is that he didn't care at this point. You know, if I would have stayed past this, maybe I would have ended up in a ditch. I don't know. But it was bad that he did it in public, and that scared me the most, that he started to not care about me that much. So I was scared, and I waved down the first car that I saw, and I got in, and it was a girl, and I was just crying, and she's like, what's wrong, is he hurting you? You can tell me. And just right away, she just knew, and I was so scared to tell her, but I did, and I was just like, yeah, he just kicked me to the ground, and she's like, we should call the cops. And I was like, no, I don't want him to get in trouble. I just need to be safe. And she told me her story of, she's basically going through the same thing. You know, she was older, so she had kids, and she's like, I have kids right now, and my husband is abusive, so I have to go through divorce. I have to deal with my kids' feelings. And she was just telling me all this, and she's like, it could be so much worse, and you have the chance to walk away right now when it's hurting nothing. It's just saving you. And I let her call the cops. I don't know, she probably would have done it anyways. But the cops came, and my parents came too, and that's the first time that I had told them that he was abusing me. And maybe they suspected it, I don't know. But that's the first time that I know that they knew that he was hurting me. And the cops let me go to the house where his parents were, where we were staying, and grab my stuff and then get out, and he was arrested. He was arrested for the night, and watching him drive away in that cop car, like getting put in and drove away, was really hard at the point. I couldn't even watch it. I just turned around and cried because I felt like it was all my fault, because how he was treating me, and with all the fighting, making me feel like everything was my fault. It made me feel like this was my fault too, that he's getting arrested, it's going to ruin his life, and it's all my fault because I said something. When, if anything, it saved me, you know? It was only 1 night in jail, or juvie or whatever, because I don't even think he was 18. And so I don't even think that goes on your record, I don't know. But, you know, it's not really hurting anyone, it's saving me. And I was so scared to save myself. Then, you know, let him deal with what he deserves. So I went back home with my parents, and he called me that same day or the next day, I can't remember, and he wanted me to pay his bail, and I stupidly did. After all of this, after calling the cops, after everything, I went down there, paid his bail, and drove him out of there. And, you know, we fought over him going to jail, and, you know, it was just a big thing. He's like, why'd you do this to me? You're gonna ruin my life. And he just made me feel bad over it. And I shouldn't even done this in the first place after everything, but I did. And so, you know, the fighting continued. He still hurt me just as much. He almost broke a couple of my bones. He still busted my lips. He still, you know, did everything. I bought him a motorcycle, and I was going to take it back because it was like in like a weird phase where we were like going to completely break up, but we're still together. But I was going to take this motorcycle back because I bought it for him, and he tried to rip up the title so I couldn't sell it, and it was just terrible. But this last day, I think I knew it was the last day that I would ever see him. And we went to go trade some stuff, and it was me trying to say my goodbye to him, to try to let him go. You know, the last, you have to have a closure with saying goodbye. That was what I was trying to do. I was trying to end it on a good note after everything that happened. And what he did was he got mad that I was actually leaving this time. And he spit on my face. And he said that I will never care about you. Even if you get in a car wreck today and go in a coma and are about to die, I won't go visit you. I will never care about you again. And that just killed me. We dated for a total of 10 months to a year this time, the second time. And just the fact that after him saying, I love you so much, and even though all the fighting, I thought he would have still loved me a little bit, and he just ended it with, I will never care about you. And that just killed me. But I just drove off, I went home, and I cried. And I didn't talk to him again. I blocked him on everything so he couldn't talk to me. And I blocked all the numbers of his family members and everything so he couldn't call me on anyone else's number. And I just took time to myself. I went and visited my sister and my nephews, and that was up in a different state. That was up in Oregon. And, I just got away. I went for a month to just get my mind off of it. And it was hard. I would still cry every night. It took the longest time to delete all our pictures, and it was hard. It was hard letting go of it. But the fact that it is, even to this day, is so hard to see is why I let myself be in that position, why I thought that was love. And it's not, It's not love. People that love you don't say things like that. It's different. I know people fight, and say dumb things sometimes, but it's not like that. It's not even close to the same thing. When they hurt you, when they say things to actually make you feel bad about yourself. No one should make you feel bad about yourself. But it didn't stop there. I stopped talking to him, but he somehow, I think he made a new Facebook or something, I don't know, but he messaged me on Facebook a while later, a couple months later, I'm not really sure how much longer, but messaged me on Facebook saying that he's gonna kill himself if I don't go say goodbye to him. And it was for a week that we were talking, and he kept trying to get me to go see him, and I was like, no, just leave me alone, and but once he said that I'm gonna kill myself, I instantly felt bad, and I was like, okay, I don't want you to die. And I went and I saw him, and he was just trying to get me back, and I said no, and I blocked him. And after that, I got a restraining order on him because he wouldn't leave me alone, and that lasted a year. And things were good after that. Before I got the restraining order, actually, and after that talking and stuff and me telling him to leave me alone, he would leave notes on my car at work and just do weird stuff like that all the time. And so then I got the restraining order. And once the restraining order was up, literally I had him blocked on everything. And I have this photography page on Facebook, and I didn't think, I thought it was, since it was connected to my account, that it would, block everyone that I've blocked on my account. But since it's a page, it starts fresh. I don't know how it works. But I thought he was blocked in there. I didn't even think about it. But on my photography page, there's no pictures of me. It just has Ashley Marie's photography. So there's no way, that's my name, but that's how many Ashley Maries on the world, you know what I mean? So he messaged that page not even a month after the restraining order ended. I had no intent of talking to him. I had him blocked on everything. I wasn't gonna talk to him. I wasn't thinking about him. And then I just see this message on my photography page saying, I don't know if this is you, but I need to talk to you. I'd like to book a session with you. I just lost a baby, and, trying to make me feel bad all over again. And not even knowing if it's me or not. I mean, I'm sure, like, the name probably made it seem like it was, and it was my page, but the fact that he knew it was my page, too, is even really scary. And I went and got another restraining order on him right away, because that terrified me. That he just won't stop leaving me alone. And that is still a fear, I think, in the back of my head, that he'll never stop leaving me alone. But, I know I'll make it through, God's on my side. So, but one of the hardest things, I thought it would stop with me. I thought after the restraining orders, after the one night in jail, he would learn his lesson and not do this to anyone else. But when I was in the courtroom getting the restraining order, the judge said that he had a case like this with another girl already, like after me. So that really, really made me sad that he didn't learn his lesson from me, and he's still doing it to other people. And that hurt me. So it made me feel less bad about, because since this second restraining order, he's over 18. He goes on his record, and it's it was legally like an abusive restraining order thing. So it's like a higher rank scale or something like that. So I didn't feel as bad at going on his record because he's doing it to someone else, So I'm not crazy that he's doing it to me, I mean, not that I made anything up, because I didn't, but it just made me realize that he's just not a good person. And, but to this day, I still have flashbacks of things. For a year after it happened, anyone touching me, I would flinch, or, someone saying something like, nonchalantly, I would just break down and cry because it made me think of something he said to me once, and just, it tore me. I have anxiety now because of it, and it's all a bad situation, and I wish I had never gotten into it, but I know I learned a lot from it, and I know I can grow stronger from it, and I am still growing stronger from it. And I just realized that I was confused about love back then. I thought love was just the words and making you feel good once in a while and going on dates, and taking cute pictures, but that's not love. Anyone can do that. Anyone can make that up. Anyone can just say it. But love is just not that, There's no way to even really describe what love is. And, maybe I don't even know it yet, but, love is how you feel about yourself, or how you should feel about yourself. And if you wouldn't do that to you, why would you let someone else do that to you? And I feel like you should always put yourself, first, not in a selfish way, but, put yourself first, and don't let anyone hurt you. Don't let anyone make you feel bad about yourself. And if you need help, let someone know. Talk to someone, and just don't be scared of losing love or being afraid that he's gonna get mad at me, because that will all be over, whether if you stick to it and you end up getting even more hurt, or if you just tell someone and then you get out of the situation and then it's all better, But just talk to someone and let it out and let someone know, because I think I hid it too much, and I could have got way more hurt than I did. But that's this. This is my story. And I know I will still probably learn every day a little bit more about myself and about what happened because I don't remember a lot. But I will learn, I will grow, and you can too, no matter what you're going through. And I just want you to know that. And I know this video was maybe a little hard, maybe a little cringy, I don't know, but just learn to love yourself. That's the most important thing, I think, in life, is loving yourself first before anything. So, thank you for watching this, and have a good day.